Trump says he's put his second meeting with Putin on hold because he doesn't want it to be a waste of time. But Russia says that preparation for a summit is still on, despite Trump's announcement that it has been put on hold. Joining us is Ambassador Sushil Kumar Singal. Ambassador Singal is a former Indian envoy to Angola and Papua New Guinea with diplomatic assignments across Africa, Europe and Asia. Ambassador Singal, welcome to DD India News Hour.
Thank you very much.
The decision to hold off on the meeting in Budapest, Hungary, which Trump had announced last week, was made following a call on Monday between U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. What can you tell us about the Rubio-Lavrov call? What do you think transpired between the two that made Washington, D.C. postpone the meeting?
Well, you know, the President Trump is in a big hurry to end this Ukraine-Russia war. So I think when he made the announcement that after his conversation with President Putin, that, you know, in 1 week they will have the officials or the foreign minister will have a discussion, and following that, next week they will meet in both the presidents will meet in Budapest. I think it was an announcement which was made without adequate preparations. So when after the President Trump's meeting with the President Zelensky, the positions sort of, you know, became clear to President Trump that what are the red lines for the Europe or Ukraine and Russia. And when the two foreign ministers spoke, they found that, you know, the gap between the positions is too vast to cover, and which forced President Trump to announce that, you know, the meeting is being postponed because they need to cover the major gap in the positions of the two countries. I think that is the main reason.
Indeed. And talking about red lines, Ambassador, Lavrov has made it very clear in public comments that Russia is opposed to an immediate ceasefire. Why is that so? Why is Russia so reluctant to agree to a ceasefire?
Because, in my view, what I feel, you know, based on what is going on on the war front and the discussion which is taking place, the Russia's red lines are very clear that they want eastern Donbass area, and also a guarantee that Ukraine will not join NATO or European Union, because Russia doesn't want any in its neighborhood any presence of the EU or NATO. And also they are against this international force, peacekeeping force, you know, 24 countries, which coalition of willing is trying to push it. So these are the red lines, and the manner in which the Russia is attacking on the Ukraine infrastructure, particularly power lines, power stations, gas pipelines, oil depots. I think what President Putin feels, or Russia feels, that the coming winter will be decisive. And because the Ukraine will not be able to sustain during the winter because of the shortage of energy. And if they feel that, you know, during winter they will be able to achieve their objectives, and if they agree to ceasefire at present position, then Russia will not be able to move further during winter. So I think in my view, they're trying to buy time. They don't want at the moment any peace movement. They want another 3-4 months to go, and so that they can, on the ground, they can achieve their objectives.
Fair enough. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ambassador, but Trump and his European allies are pushing for freezing the current front line. But Moscow says no. What are the pros and cons of a quote-unquote frozen conflict?
Well, you know, the thing is, the Europeans have moved from their earlier position. Earlier, they were not interested in ceasefire. They wanted the return of the territories which are occupied by Russia. Now in the fresh proposal, because they also realize the ground realities, the winter is looming, is almost there on their doorstep. So they are willing to cut the losses at this moment and agree on the ceasefire on the existing positions. Because I think there's a fear in the back of their mind that during winter, Russia may become more aggressive and achieve its targets, which can be a threat to Europe also. So, as far the Europe is concerned, they were trying to cut losses and ensure that that the Russia does not gain more. But as far as the Russia is concerned, as I said, Russia is keen not to prolong this war because they feel that coming winter will be decisive, and Ukraine, given the circumstances, will be find very difficult to defend itself, and particularly when the President Trump has already declined the supply of this long-range Tomahawk missiles to
Right.
Ukraine.
Ambassador, you spoke about the European position. Let's look at it from Ukraine's perspective now. Kyiv supports Trump's proposal of freezing the current front line. But the question is, does it mean that Ukraine has resigned itself to losing its territory? What happens then to Ukraine's plan of winning back land seized by Russia?
Well, I don't think I think that I think now the President Zelensky has realized that objective in immediate future, at least, I would say, is not achievable.
Okay.
So he's trying to cut his losses now, because he also knows, because they have a shortage of in the manpower. The recruitment is down because this population size is small. Secondly, the supply, arm supply, because what USA is agreeing and providing is also very limited. Thirdly, as I said, the winter. I think the biggest fear is the winter. They also realize that energy is going to be very, very, very critical in the coming winter, and they will not be able to provide enough energy to their citizens, which will affect their war efforts. So I think at the moment Ukraine is in the situation where they want to cut their losses to the extent possible and see in future what happens.
Do you think sequencing is an issue? In other words, are the talks or could the talks be stuck on whether a ceasefire should come before longer term peace talks?
Oh, well, this is the position of the Europe and USA. USA is interested in having this ceasefire at this present moment wherever the forces are. But it is Russia which is not agreeing to it.
Okay.
So this is the situation is slightly reversed in my view. Earlier, it was Ukraine and the European who were insisting that there should be exchange of borders, and the old position should come back where the Russia should return the occupied territory. Now the role is reversed in my view, because the Ukraine is willing, or the Europeans are willing, to cede the territory at this moment. Leave it, subject to the peace talk. But they don't want Russia to move further from these existing positions.
Let's talk about India as well for a moment, Ambassador Singal. India is among a handful of countries that has been speaking to all parties to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Now, Putin will visit India in December. Should New Delhi seek to capitalize on that also? Could New Delhi, as the voice of the Global South, play a role in bridging the divide, as it were?
Well, as far as India is concerned, India has made its position ample time clear that India want that the peace should come to this border, and as the Prime Minister Modi has said many times, that this is not an era of war; it's an era of peace. The talks are only solution. How this will take place, of course, this need to be worked out. And I think behind the scene, India is playing a role and trying to bring the parties together, in my view. And I think President Putin's visit will be a good opportunity to launch an initiative towards the seeking solution to this this intricate problem, which at the moment seems unsurmountable. But always, as the time passes, people try to find solutions. So, but India certainly has a strong presence in the global south, and also India is among the very few countries who is talking to all the sides, including Russia as well as the Ukraine. And Ukraine President and Prime Minister President Putin has number of times has said that India has a role to play, and India is always behind the scene helping. That also President Zelensky has said many times. and they expect that India will play a role. So I'm sure, December when the visit take place of President Putin, there will be a good opportunity. We hear something at that time, maybe.
All right, on that note, Ambassador Sushil Singal, thank you for joining us and sharing your perspectives with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time.